All right, let's talk about a subject you probably think you know inside and out, but I'm going to bet there's a whole lot more to it than you might think. We're talking about geography.
So let me just ask you right off the bat, what is geography? Seriously, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably, old globes spinning in a classroom, memorizing state capitals, that kind of thing.
But what if I told you that's like saying astronomy is just about connecting the dots to make constellations? The real story here is so much bigger, so much more interesting. So, let's get into it.
To really understand what geography is today, we've got to go back. I mean, way back to ancient Greece, because that's really where this whole story kicks off.
The word itself is our first big clue. It's pieced together from two Greek words, geo, which means earth, and graphos, which means writing. So the original, most literal meaning of geography was simply to write about the earth.
And this is the man who first put those two words together, a Greek scholar named Eratosthenes. He was the one who coined the term, and he gave it that super straightforward definition. Geography is just the description of the earth. Sounds simple, right? Well, that was just the very beginning of a very long journey.
See, as humanity started to learn more and more about the world, that simple little definition just couldn't keep up. The idea of what geography is started to change, to evolve over the next couple of thousand years.
And what's so cool about this is you can actually see the thinking shift over time. We start with just describing things with Eratosthenes. Then we jump to synthesizing or connecting ideas with Humboldt. Then Hartshorne comes along and adds a layer of scientific order. And finally, Yeats brings us to predicting what might happen. Each one of these steps was a huge jump forward.
Let's fast forward to the 19th century and meet Alexander von Humboldt. For him, geography wasn't just about listing off facts. No, he called it a synthesizing discipline. He thought the real magic was in connecting the dots, linking the big general patterns of the world with the tiny specific details you'd find in one particular place. Then in the 20th century, Richard Hartshorne comes along and adds some really key words to the mix: accurate, orderly, and rational. Suddenly, geography isn't just a collection of stories about places anymore. It's becoming a real science, all about structured, logical thinking. It's about asking why things are where they are. Which brings us pretty close to today with Maurice Yates. And look at the key words here: explain and predict. This is it. This is where geography fully comes into its own as a modern science. We're not just asking what's over there anymore. Now we're asking, okay, why is it there? And based on that, what's going to happen next?
So if you boil that whole journey down, this is what you get. The whole field has shifted from a simple mission of just describing the Earth to this much bigger, much more complex goal of scientifically explaining it.
Okay, so after all that change, all that evolution, where are we now? What's the definition of geography that pretty much everyone can agree on today?
Here we go. I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but trust me, every single word in there matters. It's a science that looks at physical, biological, and human stuff, how it changes over space and time, and this is the most important part, how it's all interconnected. It's basically the science of how the world works.
So how in the world do you study, well, the world? It's huge. To make sense of it all, geographers have come up with a really helpful way to break it down. They look at our planet through 5 interconnected spheres. Let's check them out.
So these are the big 5: the land, the water, the air, all the living things, and, well, us. Everything a geographer studies fits into one of these categories, but more often, it's about how they all interact with each other.
First up, we've got the lithosphere. Think of this as the Earth's solid skin. It's the rock, the crust, from the tallest mountains right down to the floor of the deepest ocean. It's the foundation for literally everything else.
Then you have the hydrosphere. This is all the water on the planet, and I mean all of it. Oceans, rivers, lakes, groundwater, even the massive glaciers and ice caps. It's this huge, dynamic system that's always in motion.
Next is the atmosphere. This is that thin, precious blanket of air that surrounds the whole planet. It's what gives us weather, it defines our climate, and it protects us from all the dangerous stuff out in space.
And of course, the biosphere. This is where it all comes to life, It's the sum total of every living thing on Earth. Every single plant, animal, fungus, and microbe. It exists wherever those other spheres overlap and create a home for life.
And last but definitely not least is the anthroposphere. This one is all us. It's the human sphere. It's our cities, our farms, our roads, our dams, everything we've built or changed on the planet's surface. And understanding our own impact is a massive part of modern geography.
Okay, so geography is big, it's scientific, it's complicated. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter to you and me right here, right now?
It matters because geography is the science of connection. Geographers are the people on the front lines trying to make sense of our world's biggest, messiest problems. We're talking economic crises, social inequality, political conflicts, and yeah, the huge ecological challenges we're facing. They're the ones who study how all these different pieces of the puzzle fit together.
And forget about dusty old maps. Modern geography is a super high-tech field. Geographers are using powerful tools like the GPS that's in your phone right now, and incredibly complex geographic information systems, or GIS, to analyze massive amounts of data about our planet.
So you see, geography isn't about memorizing places on a map. It's about understanding the planet's operating system. It's about seeing the complex web of connections that shapes every aspect of our lives. So the next time you look at a landscape, or a city skyline, or even just a news story, I want you to think about what we talked about today and ask yourself, how will you see your world differently now?